Since most of the NBA teams are at the halfway point of their season, today I'm going to be predicting the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. So if you guys are new, let's get into it. So as you guys can see, we have this website here called Playoff Predictors. It has all of the current standings, and I can predict every single game for the rest of the regular season. So, and you might call me crazy, that's what we're going to be doing today. Once I finish all the regular season games, we will get into the playoffs, where I will end up with the NBA Finals winner. As you guys can see up here, we're currently in week 15, so I'll give y'all an update when we are at like week 20. Okay, so it is now the first week of March. We have about 20 games to go. Nothing has changed too much, but something that is to note, the Lakers and the Warriors are both in the play-in. We're gonna have to see, you know, when I predict these next 20 games, if they stay in the play-in. Obviously, this is pre-trade deadline, so if the Warriors go out and trade for Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant, DeJounte Murray, whoever, if the Lakers trade for DeJounte Murray, or you know what I'm saying, random players go to random teams, I can't predict that. So this is pre-trade deadline. Let's see what the end of the season looks like. Okay, so I have now predicted every single game for the remainder of the regular season. Out east, the Celtics, who are currently the 1 seed, will stay as that, finishing 59-23. Then we have the Bucks right now, who are the 2 seed. They are going to stay as the 2 seed. You guys can see the records on your screen right here. The 76ers are right now the 3rd seed. They are going to stay that by the end of the year at 51-31. Then we have the Knicks as the current 4 seed. They're going to drop a little bit to the 6 seed. I still like them a lot. Don't really know how they dropped that far. We have a few teams that are going to be risers. The Cavs are the 5 seed right now. They're going to stay as that. Then we have the Pacers as the 6 seed, dropping to the 7th seed. So kind of a slight drop. The Heat are the current 7th seed. I have them going on a little bit of a run here with this healthy roster. We'll see if they can stay healthy, and going up to the 4 seed in the East. The Magic are the 8 seed right now, and they are going to stay as that. And then the play-in team, well, the Heat and the Magic are playing teams right now at 7 and 8. But then the other two, the Bulls are at the 9 seed. They are going to stay as that. And then the Nets fall from 10 to 12, and the new play-in team is going to be the Atlanta Hawks at the 10 seed. And you guys can see the rest of the teams in the East that are not going to be in the playoffs at all. Now out west right now, the Timberwolves are the 1 seed. I have them falling to the 3 seed, but it's going to be a very close race. So I mean, I can't get mad at you if you're going to say, oh well, I have the Nuggets at 1, or I have the Thunder as the 1 seed. Right now the Nuggets are the 2 seed. They're going to stay as that out west with the 57-25 record. The Thunder are the current 3 seed. I have them going up to the 1 seed. Again, it doesn't really matter, whichever team you guys want. It's kind of very tough to pick this. The Clippers are the current 4 seed. I have them staying at that. The Kings are the current 5 seed. I have them staying at that. Suns 6, I have them staying at that. Then we have the Mavs as the current 7, staying at that. Pelicans at 8, staying at that. This is kind of crazy. I didn't know it was like this. We have the Warriors as the 9 seed. Right now they are 12th. And then we have the Lakers as the 10th seed. Right now they are the 9th seed. So Rockets barely missing it by about 4 games, it looks like. Now we have the fun part. We have to predict the playoffs, starting with the play-in out west. We have the 7 seed Mavericks, who will be at home for this game against the Pelicans. We are going to stick with the home team here and just say that Luka finds a way to get it done. Hopefully Kyrie is healthy at this point in time. He's been very banged up this year. Then we have the 9-seeded Warriors taking on the 10-seeded Lakers. This would be a crazy game, easily, like not even close. It will be the best play-in game of the entire play-in tournament. 2 of the most historical franchises, Steph versus LeBron. And I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, I know this is gonna be a close game. This is a tough one to pick, but in this type of a matchup, I'm just gonna pick the home team, because Steph at home, and of course I know LeBron can go into Golden State and get a win, and same way reverse. You know, I know Steph can go into LA and get a win, but when it's this close of a matchup, and of course I am a Warriors fan, I'm gonna be unbiased in this video. I'm gonna just pick the home team. So if the Lakers end up with the 9th seed and the Warriors are 10th come the play-in tournament, then I'll pick the Lakers. That's just how I'm gonna do it, because again, it's just too tough to pick, and I trust Steph Curry. Of course, we don't know what these teams are going to look like come the play-in tournament, so it could be a lot different, you know, come the end of the year. Pacers, Magic, we're going to go with the Pacers. I just think they're the better team. Then we have Bulls and Hawks, 2 teams that it's going to be tough for them to get into the playoffs, you know, at all. I am going to just go with the Bulls here, but we're not sure what the Bulls are going to look like come the end of the year because they're in a lot of trade rumors, but I've also heard that they're trying to make a playoff push. So moving on to the next round, we have the Pelicans taking on the Warriors. I might need a second to think about that. And then we have the Magic taking on the Bulls. Okay, so we're going to start out west, and I just don't really see a world where the Warriors or the Lakers aren't in the playoffs. So give me the Warriors on the road. Steph Curry going to get it done. Although I think the Pelicans, I want to say like 4 years ago when the Warriors had that like mid-season that wasn't really good, I think the Pelicans sent home the Warriors. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know there was a season where the Warriors just missed the playoffs, lost in the play-in. So I definitely could see that happening, but Warriors and Lakers, one of them probably just got to get in just because of, you know, the script and just stuff like that. Like, I just don't see one of those teams not getting in just because of how many views they bring in and stuff like that. It would be kind of weird. Then we have Magic and Bulls. I'm not a huge fan of the Magic. I liked them earlier in the year. They haven't looked as good lately. And if the Bulls keep this current roster, I'm going to go with them. I'm going to say they get the upset. So we're going double upset in the second round of the play-in. And that now sets up our round one matchups of the playoffs. I want to say I'm not predetermining any of this. So I'm not coming into this saying like, I'm going to have the Thunder as my winner. I'm playing it matchup by matchup. I have no clue what type of picks I'm about to make. Of course, I'm a Warriors fan, and something that I always say when I talk about the playoffs is experience matters. Experience matters. It does. And we see it time and time again in the playoffs. These young teams get in there and they have these high expectations and they just are a letdown. And of course, the first matchup is experience versus pretty much no experience with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I will say that this will be an outlier for me. I'll give the Warriors game one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Warriors really get this done. We can say Thunder in 6 or maybe Warriors in 7. I think the Warriors do put up a fight, but as the team stands right now, this Warriors roster is not built to go on a championship run. So we're gonna have to see what they do at the trade deadline, but I do have to give this one to the Thunder. Again, I know they don't have a lot of experience and the Warriors do, but when you line up the rosters, you just watch the games. You know the Thunder are the better team, and I'm gonna have to give it to them here. And again, if it goes game 7, that's a different story, because that's where experience matters even more in my opinion. And you have Steph Curry, who's, in my opinion, I think he's gonna clutch up. I guess that would be an opinion, maybe a fact now. I don't know. Steph's been really clutch, but SJ is also one of the most clutch players. So we'll just go with the talent here and the better team this year. My 1 seed out west, we're gonna go with the Thunder. Clippers and Kings. This series would be a very good battle of some California teams. You guys know I am very high on the Clippers. I'm high on the Kings as well. I think this would be a very good series. We'll go Clippers to go up 2-0, and then we'll go Kings, Clippers. This is tough. I'm gonna say Clippers in 6. We get some road wins. Kings, you know, series on the line, they get a road win, but then they end up losing at home. We'll go Clippers in 6, although this would be a very good series. 2 teams that are very good. The 4-5 matchups are always good in the playoffs. Oh my God. The 3-seeded Timberwolves taking on the 6-seeded Suns. I don't care what y'all say. This might be the toughest, you know, series to pick from out of all the playoffs. We haven't even gotten to the East yet, but this is just so tough because this is pretty much one of, if not the best offenses in the NBA with the Suns. They're probably not the best, but they look pretty crazy when their stars are out there. And then we have the #1 defense in the NBA with the Timberwolves. And again, I care about experience. The Timberwolves don't have too much of that when it comes to the playoffs, whereas the Suns do. Devin Booker's been in the finals before. Kevin Durant's been in the finals before. It's just tough because it's offense versus defense, and I want to give the upset to the Suns. Will I do it? Because we still don't have an upset. We have Thunder 1 seed moving on, Clippers 4 seed moving on, and in the West, you know, like 1 through 8, 1 through 10, whatever, there are good teams all around. So we're probably going to see some upsets out west in the playoffs. Is this going to be one of them? Let's find out. I don't even know what I'm going to pick right here, but let's say it starts off with a Minnesota home win. Then the Suns fight back and get a win. I trust D-Book and KD a lot in the playoffs. I think they'll both average about 30. I trust that a lot. And then Grayson Allen's been having a solid year. And of course, you got Bradley Beal if he can be healthy. That's going to be a big factor of this series. If Bradley Beal is there, that helps out a lot. If he's not, they probably lose this series. Then it goes to Phoenix, and we're gonna say the Timberwolves get a road win. Then we're gonna say the Suns get their home win. So it's tied up 2-2. Back to Minnesota. We're gonna go Timberwolves take it. They go up 3-2. Phoenix forces a game 7 in Minnesota. Game 7. Can Anthony Edwards and Cat get it done? I am going to say yes. I'm gonna say the Timberwolves get it done in 7. Although I don't love it. I think the Suns need just a little bit more defense. Again, we're gonna have to see what they do with the trade deadline. I don't love their team defensively, and I think that that could kill them. This series could really go either way. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now we have Jokic versus Luka, the Nuggets, the reigning champs, the 2 seed taking on the 7th seeded Dallas Mavericks. This one is starting in Denver, and I'm gonna go Denver up 2-0. Then we are over back in Dallas, and we're gonna give them a win. Then in game 4, we're gonna go with the Nuggets, and then, you know, we'll say Luka sends it to 6, but then Denver ends it in 6 with, just like the Clippers series, pretty much the same type of thing. I don't know. The games don't matter as much as the final series score. It's kind of hard to predict, you know, which game each team will win, but I got Nuggets in 6 here. I don't like the Mavs roster as a whole. We're gonna have to see if they make a trade at the deadline as well. They're another team that I'm watching because after Luka and Kyrie, it kind of falls off a cliff. I know you have Lively, who's been playing great for them, but just as a whole, their forwards, their bigs aren't the best. Luka's really been carrying him. Now we have the Celtics and the Bulls, and you could give the Bulls a game if you want, but this is just a complete obliteration. One of the best teams in the league, one of the best teams in recent league history, going up against the Bulls, who I don't know why they aren't tearing it down. They should really just trade Levine, Caruso, DeMar. They need a restart, right? They're just stuck in the middle, and that's not a good place to be. Now we have the Heat and the Cavs, 2 of my favorite teams. This is going to be a really good series if this happens. I do want to say 2 of my favorite, like, I'm not like a fan of them. Like, I'm just saying 2 of my favorite, you know, maybe sleeper. I know they're not sleepers, but you know what I'm saying. I like them to go far in the playoffs. That's what I mean by favorite teams. Now, you guys know I'm obviously very high on the Heat, especially after the Terry Rozier trade and since they've gotten healthy, because currently they're the 7th seed, but I have them as the 4 seed in my predictions. I'm also high on the Cavs, who are getting, you know, both Garland and Mobley back. I think Mobley just played his first game, and Garland is coming back like tomorrow. So the Cavs and the Heat, 2 teams that should both be on the rise. So, you know, 40 games from now, we're not really sure what these teams are going to look like because they both have just made major changes. We'll go with the Heat here in game 1. Then we will go with, you know what, we'll go with Heat up 2-0 to start the series, but the Cavs fight back and make it a 2-2 series. The Heat make it 3-2. It goes game 7, and we're just gonna say the Heat win in 7. I like this Heat team a lot. We have to see if Jimmy Butler's healthy, because if he's not, we go Cavs. We go Cavs in this series if Jimmy Butler's not healthy. But I do think there could be a world where the Heat win with no Jimmy Butler. I think they have that much talent with Bam, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, Jaime Jaquez, and of course all the extra guys like Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, and stuff like that. They got a good supporting cast, so the Heat could win even no Jimmy. But no Jimmy, we go Cavs. If Jimmy's there, we'll go with the Heat. But man, this series would be really good, and it probably would go 7. Now we have Sixers and the Knicks. Do the Knicks have enough interior defense to stop Joel Embiid? I like the Knicks a lot. Is this the right matchup for them? I'm not sure. Would they even be the 6th seed come the end of the year? Because I think right now they're like 4 or 5. They're no lower than 5. I think they might be 4. So are they really going to fall to 6? Are the Heat going to rise that much? This might not be the right seeding for them. Maybe we get that Cavs-Knicks rematch if the seeds, you know, if I got them wrong. Julius Randle's also injured now, so that also makes sense as to why the Knicks fell to the 6th seed. I like them a lot, though. Brunson's been hooping. OG's been solid. They got a, you know, solid supporting cast, but Ken Hartenstein, Isaiah Hartenstein, stop Joel Embiid? I'm not going to say he can. In the playoffs, I don't see it happening, but I do like this Knicks team to fight. We're going to say actually they go 1-1, but then the Sixers come into New York, get a win. Knicks fight back though, but the Sixers are going to win it in 6. This could even be a series that is over in 5. I like Brunson. I like this Knicks team to fight, but against Joel Embiid, I just think this is not a good matchup for them. Now we have quite possibly the best series of the first round. I'm not going to say it's going to be the best, if this does happen, which honestly, I think this might happen. I think this actually might be a series that perfectly lines up when you talk about the seeding, you talk about the Pacers possibly being, you know, the best team in the play-in tournament out east. This series feels like it's going to happen. And the Pacers have owned the Bucks all year. I don't know the exact record, but I think they're like 4-1 against them, something like that. So this is a series, this is a team that the Bucks don't want to see on their schedule come the first round of the playoffs. So we're going to say the Pacers go in there and take game one. They stay hot against them. Bucks are going to fight back. Then it's into Indiana. Bucks get the first win. Pacers make it 2-2. Back to Milwaukee. Bucks go up 3-2. Pacers with their playoff lives on the line are going to lose in 6. I think the Bucks are just too good. You could even say it goes 7. I think this series would be good. We're going to have to see how healthy this Pacers team is. They've been dealing with some injuries with Halliburton. They obviously have just brought in Siakam now, so it's a different team. The Pacers have been owning them. They haven't had Siakam in those games, so Siakam should only make them better. But the Bucks with Giannis and Dame and Chris and Brook Lopez, it's just such a good team. So now we're moving on. We have the round 2 matchups, the conference semifinals, and we have the matchup. It's kind of personal. SGA versus Paul George. Obviously, if you've been watching the NBA, you know they were traded for each other. Paul George was traded for SGA and a ton of picks. Was it worth it? Is it worth it for the Clippers? We are going to find out in this series. Game 1 in OKC, we're going to say the Thunder take it. Game 2, we are going to say the Clippers get a win. Now they're going to LA, 1-1 series. We are going to say the Clippers go up 2-1. Thunder tied up 2-2. Then it goes back to OKC. The Thunder go up 3-2. Do they blow the series? Yes, they do. The Clippers win in 7. Then this might be another example of experience matters. The Thunder, very inexperienced team. Their second best player is a rookie, Chet Holmgren. Jalen Williams also very young, doesn't have much experience. SGA doesn't have much experience in the playoffs. Whereas the Clippers, you're basically playing a team of veterans. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, even Russell Westbrook. If Zubac can be back, I'm not sure if he'll be back for this. I'm honestly not sure, but I mean, it doesn't, even if he's not back, I still like the Clippers in this. The Clippers really could win it all. I don't know how far I'm going to have them going in this. We're about to find out, but the Clippers are really a scary team that I don't think anybody wants to see in the playoffs. Now we have Timberwolves Nuggets, and I'm not going to say this is like a passing of the torch game. We'll have to see, obviously, if the Timberwolves can win it, but the Nuggets have been dominant for a while. They're obviously the reigning champs. The Timberwolves haven't had much success in the playoffs. Obviously, a lot of people like them to have success maybe this year or in the near future with Anthony Edwards and just kind of building around him. Is this it for him? Because if the Timberwolves win this series, this could be the beginning of, you know, I'm not gonna say a dynasty, that's crazy, but it could be like that turning point for them. You know what I'm saying? They've been pretty good in the regular season, but can they get it done in the playoffs? This would be the big series for them, in my opinion. So game 1, we're gonna say they come out with a win. In Denver, they get a win, and then it's gonna go 1-1. The Nuggets are gonna go to Minnesota, and they're gonna lose, but then they end up going 2-2. So this is a series where some road teams are winning. I like the Nuggets to win on the road, honestly. I think it doesn't really affect them as much. And then obviously at home, they have that advantage in Denver where the air is a little bit weird. We're gonna go Nuggets go up 3-2, and then this one goes game 7. This series would be really good if it went 7, and I'm just gonna give it to the Denver Nuggets. I just trust Nikola Jokic and this lineup. As long as they are healthy, I think the Nuggets will get it done, which will set up a Clippers Nuggets Western Conference Finals. Now out east, we have the Celtics and the Miami Heat. Now, I'm just gonna say it, the Celtics do not want to see the Miami Heat in the playoffs. This would be terrible for them. They'd much rather, in my opinion, see the Sixers. The Heat sent them home, I believe, in game 7 last year as an 8 seed, and I don't think they match up well against them. I think if you look at the records, or you just think about what everyone's been talking about these teams, you think, oh, Celtics should dominate. Nah, I think in a 7-game playoff series, this is pretty even. It really is, in my opinion. So I honestly think off rip, I don't even know how it gets there, but I think it goes to a 7-game series. So let's just say the Heat are continuing to get a lot of wins in game 1 on the road, because that's what they were doing last year. And again, it doesn't really matter. Let's just say that it goes to game 7, because this is a series that really feels like it will who ends up winning it. I'm going to give it to the Celtics, but I think the Heat really could win this playoff series. If this was to happen, the Heat could come away with a playoff series win. The Heat are a team that I don't think any team really wants to see, but the Celtics definitely would not want to see them. Now we have Bucks Sixers. I think with this series, health matters a lot. You obviously have Giannis, and you have, of course, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's missed a lot of games this year. He misses a lot of games a lot, but same as Giannis. I'm not gonna say a lot of games, but Giannis misses games from time to time. So health matters in this series. And I also think these are two teams that potentially at the trade deadline can make a little minor trade. Do the Bucks trust, you know, Malik Beasley, Pat Connaughton, and this kind of supporting cast that they currently have? I don't know. I think both of these teams could use like just a solid rotational piece, or just a solid, you know, 6-man, something like that. So again, these teams might look different. Oh man, this series would be really good. It'd be a battle of the bigs, but then you also got Maxey and Lillard. So it's not just big man on big man. This series would be great. We are going to go game 1 Sixers win. We're going to say they go into Milwaukee and Joel drops like 45, 50 points. He just has an absolute night. Then we're going to go with the Bucks getting a win. Bucks get a win first game. And actually, nah. I feel like Philly fans really show out. I feel like that atmosphere would be crazy. We'll go Sixers to get a win there, but then the Bucks take game 4. This could really go any way. We're going to say that it goes game 7. And I mean, I would not be mad if y'all pick the Sixers, but game 7, give me Dame time in the clutch. I think that he will clutch up. But again, I can really see the Sixers going far, even potentially to the finals, maybe winning the finals. It all matters on Joel Embiid's health. Can he be healthy for the entire playoff run? We're gonna have to see, because if he is, I don't really think anybody can stop him. Now we have another team that I really haven't brought up their health yet, but for the Clippers, health matters a lot. You have a lot of injury-prone players, with Kawhi Leonard, who's one of the most injury-prone stars of this generation. Paul George deals with some injuries. It's just a team that health, you're gonna have to see. Can they be healthy? Because right now, they're pretty healthy. I know they don't have Zubac, but overall, they're pretty healthy. If they can stay like this, they have a really good shot. Game 1, I'm gonna, nah, we'll give them game 2. We'll give them, not game 1. Game 1, we'll go Denver. But man, this series would be crazy. To LA, we're gonna go Clippers. Then we are gonna go with the Nuggets. Back to Denver. We're gonna say the Clippers win a huge game, a pivotal game 5 to go up 3-2. Then back to LA for game 6. And let's say the Clippers win it in 6. The LA Clippers go to the NBA Finals on the back of Kawhi Leonard and, of course, Paul George, James Harden. I mean, that team is scary. I've said it many times, but it is. Now we have the Celtics taking on the Bucks, the most anticipated, the most expected conference finals of this year. And I'm not going to say that Damian Lillard has a bad series by any means, but with the Celtics versatility, with Drew Holiday, with Derek White, with Jaylen Brown, 3 of the best defenders in the NBA, they can give a lot of hell to Damian Lillard. So I'm not gonna say he's a bad series, because I don't think he will, but it's gonna be tough. And so it's pretty much just gonna be all on Giannis in this series, in my opinion. Can he, you know, give you 30, 35 points a game? I don't know. This series would be very good. I would definitely be watching every minute of every game of this series. Let's say the Celtics go up 2-0, and then it goes to Milwaukee. The Bucks get a win. Let's say the Celtics get a win. Bucks get a win on the road to force game 6. Do the Bucks get a win at home? Yes, they do. Force game 7 in Boston. Can the Celtics get it done? I'm going to say the Celtics go to the NBA Finals to set up our matchup of the LA Clippers and the Boston Celtics. Okay, so with all of these playoff series, I'm just kind of visualizing what I think will happen. So y'all can say I'm wrong, because I'm literally just picturing, you know, come June, game 1, like, how do I see this going down? And if we go back, we have in round 1 the Clippers beating the Kings. That would be a kind of a tough series. Then we have them beating the Thunder. That's a tough series. Then the Nuggets. So this is their 4th series. Can they get it done for a 4th series in a row? They for sure can, but this series to me feels like one that the Celtics are just kind of set up to win, and the Clippers have to kind of exceed expectations, or just kind of everything kind of would have to go right for the Clippers to win this. That's just how I feel about it when I really think, you know, if these teams would match up. I just feel like the Clippers, like, everything would have to go right. Paul George would have to, you know, be playing solid. James Harden can't shit the bed in the playoffs. I know he's had a lot of solid playoff games, but he's had a lot of bad ones. So it's kind of like James Harden have to have a really solid series. Kawhi have to have a really solid series. If any of that doesn't happen, I think the Celtics are a team that, you know, doesn't get too low. They're kind of always just in the middle. Like, you know what they're gonna give you. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna like shit the bed. I mean, watch them shit the bed in the playoffs now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the Celtics are a team that's gonna score. They're gonna play defense. So game 1 in Boston, we're gonna say Boston wins it. Game 2, we're gonna say Boston goes up 2-0. Back to LA, we're gonna say the Clippers get a win, and then we are going to say the Celtics win game 4. Back to Boston, game 5. You know what? I like the Clippers to fight on the road. I think Kawhi is a player, like, if you're gonna pick any player, I think Kawhi is one of them that really would be unfazed on the road. Maybe Jimmy Butler's in that conversation as well, but you know, let's just make it interesting. We're gonna go Clippers in game 5. Now it's game 6. Celtics up 3-2 at home for the Clippers. Let's say it goes 7. So now we're in Boston for game 7. This would be a legendary game. And coming into this video, and you know, I've been thinking about it over the past few weeks of how scary this Clippers team is, and how, you know, they're not the 1 seed out west. They're not the 2, the 3. They're not really talked about like one of the best teams. Well, they're talked about like one of the best teams in the West, but they're not talked about like the team that's gonna come out of the West and go to the finals like the Celtics are. Everyone talks about the Celtics like that, but you know what? I'm just gonna say this is the year that the Celtics get it done and finally get that ring that they've been waiting for. I believe it would be their 18th ring. They were trying to get that in 2022, but of course the Warriors beat them in the final. So this is my final playoff bracket. Let me know, where did I go way wrong? Because honestly, this is very tough to predict when you have the Thunder and the Timberwolves, who have been very good all year. It's like, how far do they go? Does one of them get first rounded? Does one of them go to the finals? Like, anything can really happen. And then out east, you got a ton of teams. Like, do the Heat make it to the finals? Do the Cavs go on a run? Do the Knicks go on a run? I mean, they've got to be healthy. With the Knicks, I think matchups matter a lot, and I don't really love them against the Sixers, so that's why they went out. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Celtics. Maybe my mind changes a week from now, but let me know in the comments, who do y'all have winning the finals as it stands right now? Do not pick your team. If you're a fan of a team that's at the top, let me know. Say, I'm a Celtics fan, but if I had to pick somebody else, I pick the Clippers, or I pick the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. Don't be biased. Sub up if you guys haven't. Drop a like, turn on notifications, and click the video popping up on your screen right here if you haven't seen it yet.